Let's take a look at this as a gold iPhone 8 Plus. The back glass is cracked at the top left corner, and after so many years of use, the middle frame of the iPhone 8 Plus has somewhat oxidized. I wonder how many people are still using the iPhone 8 Plus now. Now, let's take a look at the touch issue described by the fan. We can confirm that the screen indeed cannot be touched. So, why is the screen not responding after simply replacing the battery? What exactly caused this issue? I hope today's video can help you, so be sure to watch till the end. Also, I hope you can click like with your little finger. Thank you. I believe everyone at home has a few phones that have been used for a long time. You all probably want to replace the battery or screen yourself. Today, I'll teach you step by step. We will also tell you how to avoid common mistakes and precautions. Open the phone. Indeed, the battery has been replaced with a large capacity battery. However, I always advise against replacing with a large capacity battery. It seems that the back of the screen has been wiped with something. Do you know how many years ago the iPhone 8 Plus was released? The iPhone 6, 7, and 8 have a very low chance of damaging the screen during disassembly. Additionally, the waterproof adhesive has long since aged, losing any stickiness. The only thing we need to pay attention to is the position of the screen cable. This will help determine the direction in which we open the screen. Okay, we remove the fan's old screen. Check the screen's display and touch cables. There are no signs of damage or breaks. To rule out the screen being the issue, we take out a working screen. Let's power on and test it. Some people quietly watch the video, but they secretly like, comment, share, repost, and follow. These people are really adorable. After turning on the phone, we try the touch screen again. It still doesn't respond. This means the issue is not with the screen, but with the motherboard. We remove the side screen. Since it's a motherboard issue, we need to take the motherboard out and check. Aside from the screen cable's position, there is one very important thing. The first step after opening the phone is always to disconnect the battery's cable. This is to avoid damaging other components while working with the phone's power on. So, could it be that the screen isn't responding because the power wasn't disconnected? We remove the motherboard to investigate. How does the iPhone 8 Plus's 7-shaped motherboard differ from today's dual-layer motherboard? The current dual-layer motherboard doesn't dissipate heat as well as this single-layer motherboard. First, we need to find the display and touch connector. This one is for fingerprint and 3D touch. Here's the display and touch connector. After ruling out the screen, we need to look at this connector. Let's inspect it for any signs of deformation. Then, we use a multimeter to measure the connection's diode value. After testing, the value at this point is OL. According to the diagram, this should have been over 400. It connects to a capacitor. Nearby, the capacitor and resistor are covered in black adhesive. We carefully inspect the inductor. After examining it closely, we find that this component seems to have been damaged by some hard object. This is why we often use plastic tweezers to disconnect these connectors. We remove the black adhesive next to the connector. After cleaning it, we take out the damaged component. We clean and flatten the solder pads. Then, we apply flux and heat. Then to melt the solder, we reattach the component and heat it again. When the inductor feels bouncy, the soldering is done. We clean it up after finishing the soldering. After finishing the soldering, we measure the diode value at the fourth point. We find that the value has returned to normal. We cover the component with black adhesive again. This corner is where the touch signal to the AP is missing. This prevents the screen's touch signal from reaching the motherboard and CPU. This is why the touch is not working. Now, let's recreate the cause of the issue as described by the fan. Since the iPhone 8 Plus has been used for a long time, the battery was worn out. The fan purchased a new battery and replaced it. When removing the touch display cable, a metal tweezer was used. While opening the screen cable, the metal tweezer accidentally touched this component. Because this component connects both ends, it transmits signals or power. This caused a break in the signal transmission, preventing it from reaching the CPU. When the fan reinstalled the screen, they noticed the touch wasn't working, as mentioned before. The third point is that we should always use plastic tweezers or plastic pry tools when disconnecting the cable. We should apply pressure on the cable itself and pry upwards to avoid damaging the connector. I can understand everyone's desire to fix things on their own, but professional tasks are best left to professionals. Many repair tasks, whether for phones, cars, or others, require a lot of expertise and experience. It's easy to see the clean and smooth results after repairs. After cleaning, we apply fresh adhesive and reassemble the screen. We install the screws on the back. We press the screen to ensure it fits properly with the middle frame. We power on the phone. After turning on, we test the touch functionality. The touch is now working perfectly. Let's test the Wi-Fi. Okay, Wi-Fi is working fine. This is a 64 GB iPhone 8 Plus. It seems to be an early batch of iPhone 8 Plus. Later models came with 128 gigabytes and up. The fan mentioned the speaker is quiet most of the time. This is because the speaker's mesh is clogged. After cleaning, it works fine. Thank you to every fan for your support. If you like my videos, double tap the screen. If you haven't followed me yet, be sure to follow.